All right, guys. Welcome to session five. This session five is going to be more focused around the dashboard, which is the dashboard assessment. Going to be the group work and building a policy dashboard by getting the understanding from data storytelling and public narrative building workshops that you are currently undergoing. Uh, and Today, what I'll do first is that I'm going to explain the details of the dashboard assessment. Again, it's a group work, and that's something you need to figure out how you're going to create a group between the same cohort of students or in across departments taking the same course within Hadaba 2025. So that's something up to you how you will make a group of four, maximum four students for this assessment. So I'm going to explain what is included in this assessment specifically, and then I will show you a whole uh, example demo of how to build a professional looking dashboard by looking at some data from HR department from one of the university. So today, I will start first with explaining the assessment itself. What does assessment require us to do? And then I'll be building with you guys like a demo of creating a dashboard completely from scratch by using different tools of analysis, like different charts, different analytical tools that exist within the Tableau. So let's start with our um, session. So again, if you look at this document, which you will be able to find in your learning management system in your courses, if a dashboard is part of this assessment in your course, so you need to consult that with your professor if this is part of your course. If so, then you have to follow up with this video. So dashboarding policy, building an interactive visualization platform for evidence-informed decisions. So what you're going to achieve from this assessment is that you will be able to create an interactive tool, which we call as a dashboard, Tableau dashboard, which is an interactive visualization platform. And by using evidence-informed decisions, so that the topic you choose, whether it come from welfare, from education, any background of public policy that you choose. So at the end, once you build this dashboard, it will be an interactive visualization tool, so anyone can use it, play with it, and then they can get informed decisions from it, so that it will be a good tool to analyze the data in your domain and then present it in a way that people can interact with the dashboard. So it's like a web application you will be able to create by the end of this assessment. So if we jump into the project details, so the goal for the project is to design, build, and present a high quality multi-dashboard Tableau visualization platform. So again, I'm gonna give a demo of this session is not related to any specific public policy domain, because it's something you have to come up with your own hypothesis, your own data that you will find, and then you will be able to know how you will present a narrative out of it for the public policy. But my role here is to teach you and give you a demo how to build a good interactive visualization platform in the form of a dashboard in Tableau, so that you can build it for your public storytelling and building your narrative around it. So again, I'm going to build one dashboard out of, let's say, 6 to 7 different visualization charts. But again, it's up to you. We can discuss with your group what you're trying to achieve from your project and assessment for, and how you're going to reach to that narrative. So I will help you and support individual groups when we come to developing this assessment for those courses where this assessment is included. So we're gonna using multi-dashboard Tableau visualization platform that will address a complex real-world public policy issue. So again, this is something coming from your course. You have to choose the issue within the public policy domain, and we will solve it through the dashboard. But you can use a quantitative and qualitative data. So if you are studying research methodologies or any courses related to research, you might have studied qualitative, which is categorical data, quantitative, which is more numerical data, So you might have to study that. If not, I'll be able to support you with some concepts on these areas as well. So the final product must serve the needs of decision making, seeking clarity. So at the end, when you present your dashboard, will be to decision makers within that public policy domain, so that when they look at your work, they can get a clarity on what you try to achieve from this analysis and your story building narrative, so that they have a clarity on what decision they can take if they are in a position within that domain. So it will provide an insight and actionable recommendation through interactive data stories. So we will have to build some data stories as well. So for this assignment, it's not an individual work, it's a group work. When I designed this assessment, I was thinking an ideal 3 students will be a perfect group, but you can be a maximum of 4 students in a group, be able to complete this assessment, because this preparation and planning is one of the very key aspect of this assessment, because you're not being given the hypothesis, the topic, the data set specifically like assignment 1. You have to do a bit of brainstorming within the scope of your subject or your field of interest in public policy. So that brainstorming will be a collective work within your group, so that you can come up with some strategy on how to address the issue you identified, and how you will find an accurate and almost a complete data set, meaningful data sets to achieve the dashboard out of it. So you will have a lead, and this is just a role. So it's not like it has to be like this, but it's just as a recommendation, so that it can give you an idea how you can split up the work within the group. So you can choose a lead analyst. You can choose someone who is good with visualization. So something that a person or a student in the group that has been already working or worked with charts and graphs, and statistically have a little understanding of how to describe a qualitative variable in terms of visualization, and how to describe a quantitative variable when it comes to charts, like understanding of the bar charts, pie charts, histograms, scatter plots, box plots, a lot of other things. Today I'll give you a little idea on how to create custom charts. So there is few charts which are used in the real world, in the world of data visualization, is donut chart and lollipop chart, which is not coming built in with any of the tools. I'll show you how you can build a custom chart within the Tableau by using the dual axis, which is in one of the amazing tools in Tableau, the dual axis. So we will be using that in this demo. So again, the audience will be really dependent on the topic you choose. So it could be senior policymakers, stakeholders, donor agencies. Again, I have to reiterate with Dr. Evan Tooks mentioned that these dashboards will be presented to external people of high caliber, which are more influential within the scope of Qatar and in the domain of public policy. So we will try to achieve that set of quality for our dashboard, so that when we present it to the dignitaries, it gives us give them a good impression of your hard work that you will put it into this assessment. So again, we are here looking for the quality of work, and also more relevant to our relevant to your field of public policy domain as well. So situation is given to you, so you can choose different elements of the dashboard by using some historical and comparative data. You can use geographic variation, like using the maps and demographic segmentation, policy relevant interpretation, and we can get use of the filters and selectors and all the tooltips that does exist in Tableau, so we can make use of it for the more interactivity of our dashboard. And at the end, I will also show you how we can publish our dashboard, so anyone can access our dashboard through a web link, which is one of the best thing in Tableau Public, that you can publish your work for free of cost by just having your Tableau Public account to the rest of the world as well. So the product, what you will be achieving from this whole project is you will have a workbook, which is a TWBX file, which at least should have two dashboards and one Tableau story. So I'll go through one dashboard, and then you will have to just follow up with the same dashboard on your data set to create the second dashboard within the same file. And then by bringing those two dashboards together, how you will build a narrative and a story out of your data in Tableau as well. Minimum of 5 advanced visuals. I will be giving you at least 7 today in a demo, so you can use the map, any comparative chart like a bar chart for qualitative, bubble for mix, scatter for quantitative. You can use time series, dual axis or combined chart, which I will be going in details today by using the donut chart and I guess lollipop chart as well. Feed visualization by using comparative studies in terms of like the gap within the columns and or fields. So again, if you get the video, complete the video and do it with me on this video, session 5, you will have you will not have too much of difficulty to achieve this visualization in the form of a dashboard. Again, you have been introduced to legends, tooltips, parameters, and filters already. Then how to clean the data through navigation, so it's easy to navigate in the dashboard, which means all the charts you have used are connected to the topic of the title of the dashboard specifically. When it comes to submission, you will also have to explain and write a report, which is called an analytical report. Now, for this, it depends on your professor, what exactly your professor is demanding for this part, but I can provide some help. And these should be the different sections in your report when you submit. So you can have at least these 7 sections with a summary, the background on the policy you chose, how you got your data, the strategy of obtaining the data, just a walkthrough of different visualization from sheets to dashboard, from dashboards to data story. So you have to explain the walkthrough of your visualization for each chart, specifically why you chose it and what does it suggest when it comes to analysis of it. Then policy interpretation, recommendation, and critical reflection. So these 3 things will be very much dependent to the course you're taking for this. And for submission, you will be submitting a group presentation as well, which is a PowerPoint. And one of the key elements is to break down your work as in like how did individual group member took part in this whole project and what were the contributions individually as well. So by the end of this assessment, what you are trying to submit on your LMS to your professor is, of course, the Tableau workbook, which is a TWBX file, and I have explained this, that a BX is Tableau workbook file, which contains the data source as well. So when you go to Tableau and you click Save As, there will be 2 options, either TWB or TWBX. So try to choose TWBX because it will export and save the data source as well. PDF of the report you write, analytical report, the presentation, the data set that have you used, if it's an Excel or CSV. If you use Google Sheets, that's somehow covered in session 3, provide the link and make sure in your Google Drive that we can access the data as well. And then just a 1-page team role summary of who did what part of the project individually. A lot of students reach out to me already on the topic. What will be the topic of your assessment? So again, for that part, it's up to you completely what field of public policy you're more interested and more relevant to the course you're taking. But here you will find some recommendation as well for you guys to look into it. Some sources as well, and you can reach out to me again or to Siraj with the data sourcing. We can help you with the data sourcing as well. And the rubric is quite clear and self-explanatory. So the data strategy and preparation part, the dashboard quality, analytical report, your visualization and execution. Again, at the end of the day, how you put teamwork and collaboration into it, and just a presentation submission. So this is what we are going to discuss in our dashboard assessment. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to join us in a live session on Saturday afternoon so that we can discuss in more details and provide you support if needed. So that is it for the assessment part. Now we will move on to creating a dashboard from scratch, and that will take some time. So you can follow up with me or watch the video, try to learn from it, and then I'll explain individual sheets one by one. Thank you. All right, guys, I hope it's recording now. So we will be looking at the dashboard we're going to create today. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use the data coming from a human resource HR department so that it's a generic data that we will be using for our dashboard. So if I look at, I will be uploading this data in the Teams with the video as well. So you will have no problem downloading this video, and then there is no need to put joins because we have one straight sheet of complete data that we have. Okay, so let's look at the different variables that we have and how we can build a dashboard out of it. So we have the first column talking about overtime. If an employee is doing some overtime, so it's most probably will have a value of yes and no. Then another column is if the person is an adult, not a teenager. So we have just all yes, all adults working in it. Training times last year, so it has a couple of values with different training times over the last year. We have another column with an age, so you can see there's a lot of values for age. Minimum is 18, I guess. Then we have a current employees as well. If it's yes or no, then the daily rate for the price or salary that they have, distance from home for individual employee, what kind of education they have done, employee count for individual is just maybe used for finding the total employee count at the end is just one if it's an employee. Then environment satisfaction for each employee in the work setup, hourly rate, job involvement, job satisfaction, monthly income, monthly rate. So we have quite decent number of fields in this data set. And when you are dealing with any data specifically to HR, so what people are trying to achieve from these analysis is to look at the churn rate. So churn rate means how many people in your company or employees leaving by the end of the year, or how many you retain in the company. That's something very interesting and very important for any HR department or the board of directors as well, that what they're trying to change in their policy or what can they do better to keep the employees with them over the longer period of time rather than retention rate is dropping with time. So this is a very nice way to look at our dashboard analysis towards human resource analytics, HR analytics, to see how many people are actually leaving or staying in the company in your job. So this will be a good dashboard for that analysis. Again, what you're trying to do in your assignment will be completely related to the topic you choose and the data you choose for your analysis. This is just a technical part of demo, how to build a decent dashboard from a data set. So this is the data we will be using. And for this assessment, I also tried to get some different backgrounds. So in dashboard on Tableau, you don't have to use any background, like it's not like a requirement or mandatory. You can see that in your assignment one, but to make it more interesting with related to your company, your project, your university, anywhere you're gonna work, there must be some watermark, trademark, logo, or some background backdrops of visuals you'll use in your company. So you can just export that as a PNG or a JPG image file, and we can use that for your dashboard as well. But again, I just found few of them on internet for human resources. So we have a couple of background designs here. You can see the wallpaper designs for related to HR. So we can just use one of them, and I will upload this PowerPoint on teams with the video and the data, so you can just go on to use what background you're more interested in. So what I'll do is I'll just choose a simple this one, and how you will export it from the PowerPoint is you have to select this slide, whichever you feel is good enough for your dashboard. So you can click on it, go to File, and then just click Save a Copy. And then in the options here, you don't need to save it as a PowerPoint. You can look for a PNG or JPG. So you can find it here, PNG, which is Portable Network Graphics Format. And you can click on it. And then you can save it in the same folder I'll suggest, so that you know where the data file is. So you can just click Save, and then it will ask you which slides do you want to export. I want to just export this one, so I'll just say just this one. And when I click Yes and close my dashboard, you will be able to see that image has been exported into a PNG format, and this file is exactly the one I chose from my PowerPoint slide. So this design is something I'm going to use for my dashboard, but that's after once you have completed your visuals for now. So let's jump into our dashboard demo, and you can just go to a Tableau and click New File. And once you click a new file, you will have a new file created. And first thing always is to try to save it from the beginning, so you know where the file is saved and what name it is. So what I will be calling it, I'll be calling it as, let me see if I'm storing it in the same folder as my data. Okay, so here I'll be calling it dashboard demo or something, whatever suits your file name. I'll call it HR Analytics Dashboard Demo. And again, the most important thing is to choose the Tableau Package Workbook, TWPX. So this will get the data for us as well. Now the file is allocated in your computer as well, where it will be stored. Now let's get our data. So connect to data, and the file that we have is an Excel file, I guess, not a CSV, Excel worksheet. So we will be connecting to Excel, and it's here. Open it. This file is currently in use, so it will not load. This is the file. Just close it before you load it to the data. So let's select it and open it. If you're using the data for your dashboard on Google Sheets, Google Drive, you have to follow the explanation from session 3. If it's a CSV, you can just choose CSV text file. If you have multiple files, you can join them as we did before. And if you have a database like Access, you can follow the session 2 video as well. Now in this case, we have only one sheet, I guess. So we will just, it's already here, HR data actually. So our data is already here. Let's look at our data. So attrition means if the person has retained or not. This is something very important column in our analysis today. Business travel column, whether they travel for business in their work, their age band. So there are some different groups they created in the data. So maybe for clustering or grouping, department, education field, employee number, employee IT, marital status, overtime. So the same data that we looked at it earlier. So the idea here is to create overall analytics dashboard when it comes to HR department. And here, all the sheets that we will be designing will be linked to the data itself and the overall outcome of the dashboard as well. So let's first look at our sheet number 1. So whenever you move towards dashboards, you will be most importantly looking at. So if I go on internet and find some dashboards for you, examples. And you look at some dashboard examples on Tableau, for instance. Let's look at this one. This is paid media dashboard. So if you look at the dashboard specifically, most of the time you will see that there will be some KPIs, key performance indicators. So these are most like textual data with like cards and like font size is high, and if you see if there is any growth happening there or not. So this is something very common in the dashboard, that we should have some KPIs, which is also known as the key performance indicators for your analysis as well. If you look at it, you must have a heading or a title for your dashboard with some logos of your company or university or something like that. And then you can see some time series, some tabular data, some filtering. We will using some filters, some dates for storage, some text data to explain it. And if you have more than one dashboard, so you can then click on the second dashboard and then find the data related to it. Then configuration is just an explanation of how you guys doing, and this is specific to this channel mix website. So again, this is just how it looked like. So they use this coloring and formatting. That's something related to their field, so you can be mindful of the coloring you're using. That should be mostly consistent in your data dashboard as well. So we come here to our dashboard, and as you see that KPIs should be there as one of the important visual in your analysis, because when you present your dashboard to like board of directors and people in the leadership, they're not really into going through the complete data set that you have, rather than it is looking at what they want to see, which can help them in the decision making part of your analysis. So that's something you need to be very careful in this case. So what I'll do is I'll just call my first sheet as a KPI. So KPI stand for key performance indicators, and they are usually textual data in the form of cards and with higher font sizes as well. So my KPIs here that I want to look at the data is that I need to mention how many people are actually retained by the company yearly wise. So attrition is the column we have, but if we looked at the data in attrition, we only had yes and no. So that is only binary values. So what we can do is we can create a new feature like we did it in the last video. We call it feature engineering. So creating a new column from existing column. So for that, what you need to do is just go here and click create calculated field, if you can do that, or you can right click here, and here you can also find create calculated field. So something we will create for this part as well. So let's go on create, and what we're going to do is we will call it attrition. So let me go to the spelling, attrition count column. We don't have in the total count of people who has been retained. So how do we do that? We will use a bit of if else conditional statement. So like if if attrition value is equal to, let's say, yes. I'm not sure what font or capital letters they use, but I can check that in a minute. So if attrition is yes, then the count will be 1. Else, if it's not yes, it means no, there's only two options. So it will be 0, and then we can end our function, or you can say the formula. So if the attrition is yes, it means in the count 1 will be there. Otherwise, 0 is the other way. You can do it like this. You can write this in this format as well. So it doesn't matter if you write it in one-liner or multiple lines. It will do the same thing compared to any other programming languages or any other computer software tool you used before for conditional statement. This is very much similar to what we have done in Excel before, and the column name will be attrition count. So we will just apply it and okay. So you can see attrition count is measured now because it got numerical data into it as well. So we will start first with total employee counts. So employee counts, I guess we will have here employee count. What I'll do is I'll bring it to my text so that I can get my total employee count. That's something you can see there is 1470. I will also try to do the iteration count I just created. So how many of them are actually retained to 37 within that data set specifically. And if I just convert my rows and columns, it will be better, I guess, this way. Okay. We can sort it as well from high to low. So that's something also good for the KPIs. What else? Retention ratio we have as well. So we can look at the retention ratio if we have any retention column for that. We don't have actually retention in the data. So what we can do in this case is we can create the retention ratio because we only have the attrition count and the employee count. So what we want to do is we will create another calculated field which helps us the ratio of the retention as well. So what I'll call it retention ratio. And how do we calculate the retention is by dividing your total attrition count over total employee count. So I'll write sum and then we have attrition count already here selected and divide by the sum of total employee count. So employee count. Okay, so maybe there are some errors. Okay, it's done. This is a bracket, divide by this bracket. All right, so let's apply it. And okay, so we got retention ratio as a measure as well. So if I double click on it, I'll get retention ratio as 0. So it means something did not work well in my values. So if I go to format for retention ratio, click on number, what I need to do is it should be percentage, right? So click on percentage with 2 decimal digit or 1. Let's give it 2 or 1 up. Let's keep it 1. So you can see that retention ratio has been compared because ratio is percentage and by default every measure is numerical number quantity. So that's why it was giving you 0 for that. So if you want to change the data type for any of the fields, you can just right click on it. You can right click here, not there for the sheet, not for the view, but for the measure values. So you can right click on it and it will take you to the pane for the numbers and just right click if you want to convert it currency, scientific values, and anything that is more related to your field as well. So that's something we have done already for retention ratio. So we got retention ratio. We can sort it again. And we can also manually sort it if you want. I want the employee count to go first, iteration count to go second, and then third. All right, so we need one more column, one more value for something like to know how many of them are active employees right now. So active employees could be easily calculated by subtracting your total from attrition count. So what I'll do is, I don't think I have active employee. So what we can do is we can create a new calculated field. Again, these are called feature engineering. You are trying to create new columns, but the data comes from the existing columns as well. So I want to call it something like active employees. And how do we get that? We just subtract the total count of employees. You subtract it. What do you subtract? You need to subtract the attrition count so that we can get the active employees by just subtracting. All right, so just click OK, and then let's bring it to the data. So we have, okay, the calculation doesn't make sense. It does make sense. So 1470 was the total employee count. We got attrition of 237, and then we have left with active employees of 1233 in the data. So you can sort it again if you want, however you like it. So this could be a better way of doing it. I mean, if it's like ascending, descending, anything that mostly helpful to you. We can get one more because we didn't look at like the age or something like that, which is also numerical data we have, so we can get an age here. Okay, so age is giving us, oh, that's giving us like a sum value of all the age is of all employees. So what we can see sum. So what we can do here is we can just get average age of all employees. So if we get age for, okay, it's giving us error still. Oh, I mistake by this one. Sorry, age is here. Okay, so average age is 37 in this data set. So what we did is we kind of got at least 5 different marks for our KPIs, which could be a good thing to have in our data. So we can figure by changing some formatting if you guys want it. So if we go to format and you want to do something like standard numbers, custom numbers, anything, you want to keep it like specific rounding like 1 or 2, you can keep it here rounding. But for employee count, we don't need actually, because the only thing is percentages, retention ratios. That's all right for us. Now let's get to some filtering. So one thing I told you in the assignment 1 is when it comes to filtering, try to keep try to keep the filtering as a common between all sheets, so that when you go to dashboard, you click on one filter and it helps you to change all the sheets in the dashboard. So we will use filter, let's say education is a good filter, so we can get the education level of different employees in the company. So we will bring it to the sheet and we can select all. And okay, so we got filter for education. We can apply it to all using this data source. So it means this filter will be applied to all data sheet that we have. Okay, one thing I never discussed is you can change the view you have. You can have here the standard view. You can make it entire view so you can get a nice analysis, like visuals of your charts and graphs over here. That could be also a nice thing to have. KPIs. I will show you how we will change this when it comes to dashboard. For now, KPIs is a good starting point. So you can have the first sheet easily made for KPIs. Now, how do you actually create dashboard? So you have a second option here in those three is new dashboard. So this is the dashboard we will be creating. You can rename it if you want, because I'm going to do one dashboard, so I can just keep it as it is. But if you have two dashboards, you can rename them individually as well. Now the thing is that I have to use my own template for my dashboard. So I need to make sure that the size of my dashboard, instead of looking here as selecting like the maximum value I have, what I can do is I can actually apply a specific range for my size of my sheet, so that it can help me to choose not automatic, not fixed, but something like a range of values uh, for my dashboard. So based on the image I have, which is 1580 and 900, so I'll just choose my width to be minimum 580 and my height to be minimum of 900. So my images fit well here as well. So this is how you will see and change the size of your dashboard for now. So how do we bring image here? If you want to get image as a background for a dashboard, so first you will go on to objects and choose image from here. So when you bring image here, it will ask you, we can see that it's covering the whole dashboard for you. So it can ask you where you're going to get your image from. 1 minute, you can see that the dashboard is being still moved around. So we can look at the maximum value. Make it a maximum size of this so it can cover the whole thing. Okay, so let me show you the step again. You can go to image, bring and drag and drop image, and here what you're going to do is you will choose the image to be uploaded. So insert image file from the same where you have stored it and make it fit the image and center the image and press OK. Apply and OK. So you will get the dashboard is it is as per the view. So let me see how does it look like. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so we have gotten our dashboard. Make it floating so that when we drag anything here, it can clearly see here what we want to achieve. So let's go on to create the first visual onto the dashboard. So for that, what you will do, I want to keep the KPIs here. So what I'll do is I will bring KPIs here as you see, and I'll try to fit into the first section of my dashboard and do that, put some here. Okay, when I bring it here, you see the KPI has been not able to see, and so is the image you see here. So we need to do a bit of formatting here so that we don't get any problem with the formatting as a background or anything. So we can go to edit title and make it, let's say, bold 15 for now. We will fix the formatting. Let's keep it like yellow or something so it's visible. Okay, and for this, we need to change few things here so that the KPI is looking correctly. So the KPIs is the first sheet we will be looking at. Okay, so you can see that we have some coloring here for the book. So what we can do here is already none. Or we can do this in the KPI actually. It's already been. apply some filtering here for all the rows and columns. So we don't get anything. The values are still, so we can right click on it. The dashboard thing is that you have to apply a lot of filtering here. That would be sometime challenging. None now. Okay. So we can change now these to white color as well. All right. So we got the values as white color for this in order to be visible on our background that we have. Yeah, we can actually delete the KPIs. We don't need the high title because we already have something like this. Was wondering where the formatting goes. Make a foreign this one. It's better. And for our field of values, you can choose also yellow. Or white is still better if you want to include it. If I select these, you can still change the formatting here in the KPIs. So what we can do here is we can actually change the alignment as well. Make it in the center for all fields. So the values will appear here for the KPI sheet. We can do one thing is that we can select these and change the values like this so it's better there. Yeah, so if you see it here, it's better in this case so that we can format it easily. Okay, so this is the KPIs we have gotten so far. And if you want to increase the size, you can still increase by clicking on it. Go to their option and change, let's say, this is okay, this is we choosing for employee count. So you can go to fields and the values we are more interested in. So it should be 15, make it bigger as you can. Because these are like cards and KPIs in your data set. So yeah, this is our first sheet of KPIs that we actually got it from the KPI sheet that we created here. And now, because at the end of the day, you don't need to worry about how your sheet's looking like, because you're more interested in the dashboard, and you will publish the dashboard, not the individual sheets. So no one is interested in reading your individual sheets, but rather overall dashboard of the storytelling and the narrative you're trying to achieve from it. Okay, so this is our first sheet into your dashboard, but you can also give it a heading for the dashboard if you want. You can use the title option, but what I suggest is rather than using the default title, you can also use your own your own text based on how you want to see it. So for that, what you will do is you will bring a text option into your dashboard and just call whatever you want. HR, human resource, analytics, dashboard. You can say 2025, 2026 by changing its fonts, coloring, make it same as this, and bring it here. And keep it in the center if you want. And then later on, we can insert an image here, like a logo or something. So you can change this font as well if you want a different font. So this is what we have gotten. We didn't do any filtering or anything so far. So this is our first KPI sheet. Now we will move on to dragging into the dashboard our second sheet. But first we have to create our second sheet. So to create a sheet, you have an option here, new worksheet. So now we will be looking into the data to see what would be our second sheet about it. So first one is as a KPI, you see it. Second, what we can do is now we are trying to look at the attritions and retentions. We can look at by gender as well, because what I see here is a gender column. So we can just move on to creating a new sheet here. So sheet number 2, I will call it attrition by gender specific. So we can look at gender specific. And when it comes to gender, what I have seen recently is a lot of people are going towards using the new kind of chart, which is known as a lollipop chart, and which is using dual axis. So I'll be showing you that part as well, how to get a lollipop chart from dual axis. So we need to bring gender for this one. So gender is very important for us in this sheet because we're interested to look at the attrition data by gender specifics. And then we can bring the attrition count into our column. So we get the male and female. Now for lollipop chart, we don't have it in our built-in charts, but we can customize our sheet visual so that we can get a lollipop chart by combining two sheets into one specifically. So for that, I'll just make a copy of this one. So you can press Control on your keyboard and move this here. So you will get two sheets, right? And you will see the second mark. This is our first mark. This is our second mark. So for the second mark, we want first one you can keep as a bar chart. You want it, but for the second one, you can keep it as you can choose either circle here, or you can use pie as well, but I'll go with the circle as well. So you see the circles have been drawn here. And for the second one, what I will do is I will use it as a dual axis so it can combine here. Now the circle is here, but the bar chart size is bigger than that. So what I will do now, I will go here. I will click on synchronize axis. So I can sync my both axes together for both sheets. So it's following the same axis values as a reference point for me. Now I can just change the sizes a little by decreasing the bar chart size a little. So click on the size in the first chart and make it a little smaller. And for the second one, try to make the size a little big so we can have the sheet drawn easily. We can also bring gender onto coloring so we can see different coloring for us. Okay, you see the coloring there now for different sheets. And this is our sheet. If you want to bring some labeling by putting the total count, you see 87 and 150, we can do that as well. So now in this case we cannot do that because we have two sheets on a dual axis right now. So increase and count on the label. Okay, we get the labels here and then we can change the labels a little by alignment and size and font, reduce the font a little. We can change this to entire view so we have a better chart. Oh, look at that. This is something we need to figure out here. So size for this should go down. And for the second one, size should go up. Yeah, this is known as a better way of seeing it. And if I go to label now, I can change it to make it look bigger. Okay, so this is what we got as our attrition by gender. And this chart is known as a lollipop chart because it gives that you have two columns, two sheets. One is a circle of the same data and one is a bar chart of the same. And you just combine them into one by using dual axis, and that helps you to get it. Now, if we go to our dashboard, we have a little space here where we can actually see the male, female, gender specific data over here. So what we will do now is we will drag and drop it here. We will try to change a lot of things here. We got the square. Okay. Try to fit in a little. So we can hide the title for now. We don't need the title. We can format some stuff here. Okay, the sizing are quite big right now. Uh-oh, there's something really mistake here. Change these border lines to remove all the borders that we have. Okay, so we got rid of the accesses and now we can just change the font here, make it yellow. And the grid lines. The only thing that is tiring is actually finding the right fit from your dashboard into your, yeah, you see here, it's how it's affecting change compared to the visual you see here. And changing individual font as well. Because at the end of the day, it's all about how the dashboard is looking compared to. I just want to figure out to drop this sheet, some straight lines that we have. Oh, it's here. Okay, it's gone now. So you see here, we have a nice male female uh, gender created, and we can just get rid of this for now. Cool. So this is how we actually created two sheets, the creation by gender and KPI, and how the formatting in the dashboard helps you to change the view of your sheets in your dashboard. So this one I need to make a little more bigger so it is reflecting well. Okay, so this is our two sheets for now, and then we will move on to our third visuals in a minute. All right, so now that we have created our two sheets of KPIs and attrition by gender, we will move on to create our third sheet. So in third sheet we can look at is there is the department option in the data. So if you look at the department data, we can see what kind of departments do we have. So we have HR, sales, R&D, so different departments work in this company so that we can look at the attrition based by departments, attrition by gender. Now let's move on to attrition by department. So instead of gender, we will look on the department as well. So first of all, we can get department to see what do we have in department. As you can see, we have three options: HR, research and development, and sales here. So let's change this to pie chart to see the ratio. Okay, and then make it an entire view. So you can see sales, R&D, they have different colors here. And let's get the attrition count for this. So we have the angle option. So the angle mark in pie chart, angle means that individual piece, or you can say pizza slice of your pie chart. So this is represented by angle mark. So I can just bring it here so I can see. I have HR, very few people, research and development is majority, and sales is second one. So this is how we see the different departments. So again, you need to follow a color scheme as I explained earlier. So we can use the coloring in the colors, edit colors. And our you can either go with the blue or a purple. So let me go with HR. Is this R&D like this? Sales. This. So we apply. Okay. So you can get even if you can get a purple color, which will be alright. Search out with this value. You can go with this. Fill with light. Okay, so you can see colors. You can choose any color you want as per your liking. You can use blue shades, purple shades, any color that fits well with your background. Also need some values here, so let's go on creation count on some labels. You can see the labels are here. We have 12 people, 120, 33, and 92 here. And we can actually show percentage. So pie chart is usually referred to like a percentage values, which means how much proportion does each category belongs to. I have some issues with the color. Let me go on to blue color, which will be better, I guess. Okay, so higher value is R&D. Sales is this, HR is the lowest. So, okay. Now we can go on to the labels, and labels we can have this quick table calculation. Instead of individual values, we can see the percent of total. So you can see 5%, 56. This is the main reason of using the pie chart in general. So we can have a percentage of total. If I get it on label, it is not good. Move it here, and another acquisition count. Okay, so we have 2.4 percentage and one is the total value. So we can edit that label if you want. Is we can look at the total sum, and the percentage we can put it as a bracket or something like that. Let's see how it will look like. Okay, so 92 for sales, R&D 133, and HR 1. So this is what we have for the department-wise attrition. So if we want to take it to dashboard, that would be ready, I guess, attrition by department. So we will bring it here. Shadows. We don't need the shadows here. It's already none here. By department is this. Okay, so our values are still needs to be in white color, right? can change it here actually. Make it the point. Okay. So we can choose one and then filter all of them. If you want to keep this filter, we can what do is choose the size and bring this filter inside. It's a lot of designing needed for the dashboard, that's the issue. Whenever you're going to make it look nice. And you can change its coloring by formatting. Okay, visible here. And you can do arrange item in a single row. Okay, so we can now change based on this. You will have an option here to change for the sign. Okay. So this is our iteration by department. It's our fourth sheet of your analysis. Now we covered department, we covered our gender specific and KPIs. Next one is we can look at the age. So age would be a good analysis, and we can try something like a bar chart or a frequency chart in that case. So we can see employees by age group. So we have age column, but we don't have age group here. We have only age, not age groups. So here we will learn about a new concept. It's called creating a bin. So creating a bins actually help you to find different parameters bin that you will have for each bar. So each bin will be represented as a bar in a frequency chart, and then you can change the axis by two, like what will be the consecutive value from one age group to another age. So let's say if you want to keep 2 as a bar width, so it will be ages like 18, 20, 22, 24. If you want to keep it as 3, it will be 18, 21, 24, 27, something like that. So what we can do in this case is we can create a parameter for it and click on the parameter. We will call this as bin size. So bin size is actually telling you how big each bin in the frequency chart or a bar chart will be. We can start with the current value of 2, let's say. I must match the data type. Okay, 3. Something happened here with the parameter I just did. Create new parameter. Okay, current value of 3 we can do. We can choose current value. We can go minimum of 2 and maximum of 10. And step size means how much will be the difference between each. We can keep it as 1 and press OK. So this will create an edge bin for us as well. That's something you will get as a dimension there. Now we need to bring age bin into columns. This is only used if you want to use frequency chart or bar chart and you want to control the bin sizes and the width as well. In that case, it is good enough. So this is employees per age group, so we can get an employees count here some into our rows. And we can also get employees count into our labels, so we can get some values as well. So you see here that the values you were looking at is actually now the bin size of 2. You see the difference there. If you want to put employees count on the color as well, so we can, let's make it entire view. So we can choose the coloring same as we chose earlier, purple. So you can choose the color mark according to it as we suggest. So intensity will be based on the value itself. So here we created the bin size, and you can see employee count here. You can change this legend if you want. From 5 minimum to maximum 155. So this creates a very nice bar chart in your analysis for your frequency chart. So if we go to dashboard now, let me rename it to HR dashboard. Okay, so let's get the employees count and do the same changes for coloring and background shadow. Okay, so let's double click on it, keep the same we have been using for all. Make sure all of them are 12 bold. Okay, and then format this to shadowing part if it's and then change some more filtering. Remove the any kind of grid lines you see there. Let's sum of count white and make it smaller a little. Totals and total. We don't have train total here. Make sure that all the linings have been none in any of your graph for your dashboards to make it look better here. So now we need to just coloring this part as well. We can get rid of this one. We have see it here now. And just change the axes. And make it okay. So we have done, this is our for employee count. All right, so this is our sheet number 5 in our dashboard. So now we will move, we have like 3 more spaces left for different charts. So we can create some more visualization. We never discussed heat map, which is one of the intensity based visualization. So we can get heat map as well. So for heat map, We have okay, job satisfaction is one of the good uh, column to present because when it's HR analytics dashboard, you want to know about retention, attrition. So satisfaction is also job satisfaction is also one of the key aspects to look at it. So we will just call it as job that is satisfaction ratio. So if people working in your, we have a column data here already, so it's good. So we can know if people are happy and they're satisfied working there. So what we have is job involvement, job satisfaction, job level. I want to see something categorical. Okay, job role, we have job role. So we can bring categorical here, manager, representatives, managers, director, scientists, executive. So we have a lot of values here, and the satisfaction, we just saw it that we do have satisfaction. And the values you see here is satisfaction. That gives you column. So what we see here is job satisfaction as also categorical. So what I will do here, I'll bring job satisfaction into dimension. Okay, and then sorry, where is job satisfaction? Job satisfaction into this, so I can bring it here and I'd see the values now instead of a bar chart. So I want to use this dimension rather than as a measure here. Let me make it entire view so you can see it completely. We need some employee count so we can show it as a textual values label. So employee count onto my text. So you can see different employee counts for their satisfaction between 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because 4 means the maximum and 1 means the low satisfaction according to the company. I'm not sure about that part. Now we can show, okay, one thing you can learn here is how to get row totals and column totals. This is the dashboard I told you earlier, showed you earlier. It also have a kind of a tabular data here. And if you are using tabular data, you must show different sort of grand totals like row total and cardinal marginal values as well. So for that, we have amazing tool in Tableau. We can have analysis here. So you can go to analysis, and in analysis you will find the totals, and here you can show row grand totals and show column grand totals. You will get marginal values as well. If you're interested in about marginal values and marginal distribution in general for your analysis. So this is also one of the important thing. We can color the values so we can see some heat map as well. So employee count should be displayed on color as well. So the intensity you can see will show here as well. If you want to change color again, we can pick the colors same as before. Okay, and now we wanted to make a heat map. So show me as a heat map. So this is a heat map you see here, but I want to split because I don't want these as columns. I want them as rows. So all I go is I'll go to swap my rows and columns, and I'll get a better heat map with values. And the higher value is a higher shade of color in my heat map. So this will create me a nice heat map for my sheet in my job satisfaction ratio. So this is, I think, enough rather than further detailing about job satisfaction. So we can go now to dashboard and bring the job satisfaction as well. And do editing as we did for other visuals as it is. Here I need to mention that it's not important or mandatory to use the same background that I gave you. You can use anything you want for the background or keep it as general background for Tableau. And keep the same coloring. I want to make sure it's same 12 bold. Same for both. Okay. Let's go on to formatting again. And formatting for the shading part. Okay. And changing the colors. Okay. This formatting is left. You can select all of them at once if you want. Better is that way. Values will represent intensity. They will be not looking, the values will not be looking very much clear. So choose that. Or we can keep the same value as it was originally. Okay. Okay. And let's remove. All of them have been removed. Okay. All right, so this is our heat map for the job satisfaction ratio that we have, and it's following the same is it Tableau bold, Tableau bold. Okay, that will help us to get the heat map. So I did mention about the donor chart that we want to create, but before that, I want to show if education field has something to do with the attrition as well. So I'll go on to create my new sheet. I have two sheets left, so I can do education field by iteration. So we didn't do it earlier. Iteration by education field, you can say. So we do have education field, I think. Yes, education field can be got to rows. And again, iteration count, we created as a measure separate field as our column. So we can sort this out. Maximum to minimum or something like that for this part. Try to use, okay. Put some labels here. Okay, it's better now. Okay, so let's go on and get this as well. Okay, so let's do the same options for these ones. Okay, and let's format this font. And remove the grid lines that we have. The rows, anything with the columns, anything. Okay, and you should nothing. Okay, let's go to the fonts now. White color. Get rid of this font. Get rid of this font. So we have human resources, others, and everything perfectly. So this is ours. We can change the color if you want. Instead of this, use something like purple. Okay, no, it's too much here. Okay, so now we were looking at the colors, so we can do one thing. We can go to our background that we use, and here if you look at the gradient, dark blue. So this is our value. We can copy it and go back here, colors, more colors, and paste the value here. Okay, so this is, but this is very much with the background. You can make it a little lighter. RGB, so we can make the B a little lighter by 55. Nope. I think the purple was a good one. Purple. Not really, but still what we can do is education level. Where is education level? Put it on color and now go to color and choose purple. Okay, so it will match with this part as well and this as well. So it's better now. So this is what we called our visualization, which is attrition by education. Now the last one is by combining the attrition rate, and I want to try the donut chart. So I can use donut chart now by comparing two or more variables together. So in this case, what I can do is I can rename it as attrition rate by gender per age group. So we can see different genders dependent on the age group we have and the attrition for us. So we already have an age band, I think, in our data. Age band. Okay, we have CF age band. Okay, we have 25 to 34 under 25. We can sort it in an order. Okay, this is a better sorting now. So we can apply now some, so we have to use values here for, so we have attrition and then we have gender. So we can get, so our chart we have time already here, so we can put gender now onto color. So we can get different age groups based on color. And attrition count into angle. We can get different angles, right? Now here what we will do for row is, if you want to apply donut chart, you have to use a technique to create the radius of these pie charts. So for that, I'll just create one radius of minimum 1, press enter, and I'll just copy it to make it another one as well. So you see I created minimum of 1 radius different donuts, and you can see we have created 2 marks now. One is the all marks, one is the age min 1, and then it's age min 2. So these are the 2 different charts I created. Now we can do a few things to remove color from one of them and then dual access them. So my second one, I want to remove everything to keep it as just basic, and I can dual access them. And I can make size smaller so it can fit it into that on top of the other one. So I'll do now is dual access, and it went on top of the other. So if I change the size a little more, now Okay, it's better, I think, this way. Dual axis. Now let me increase the size for the first one, and now for the second one to get bigger. All right, so we get two different pipes together by the donut chart. Okay, so the header, we can remove the header, right, before like this. We don't need the headers here. Okay, let's show some labels as well. So we can label them by same thing we did earlier, percentage of total values. So we can see that 225, 25 is all correct. And I can just change this labeling a little. Okay, percentage of total. And I can go now. Okay, this is percentage of it. Up. Okay. Now this thing, if I bring it to dashboard, I will have one issue, and that is the issue that will come with the background. So let me check this. Bold, 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 same color, line. Okay. And then format this. We're doing nothing. Grid lines, nothing. For rows, also nothing. And for columns, already nothing. And then change the formatting for the coloring. Show it as one row. Okay, and the only thing that is different is the color of this donut that I don't want to look like that. Okay, gender is right. We can give some space to get rid of. Okay, let's put gender male and female for this part. Now to look at the coloring for this one, we can go to our this sheet. This is our second one, right? So the color here, we can choose the same color as our PowerPoint. So what is that color? Copy, paste. Okay, and now when I go here, yes, it's better now. So I choose the same background as the background. So, okay, so this is our sheet. We have something here. So as red, total value, nothing. Okay, oh. So this we got our dashboard. Let me see how it look like. The full screen at the moment. Okay, this is how it looks like. We have some space here. We can fix that. Okay. So this is it. Now we can go to analysis for the filters. Loading. No, I need to put that as loading for us. So we can go and check the filters. Education, everything is done. So we can now select each and use this option so that each of them is aligned with the filters. Use as a filter, use as a filter, use as a filter, and then use as a filter. We need our education filter. No. Okay, so the last thing that we want is to apply filtering in the data so that data is changed with it. So what we will do is we can just check, because if you remember, we apply education as a filter on all the data set. So we can go to analysis now and apply filter and choose education, and it will appear somewhere here. All right, so what I can do is I can make it as a drop down. So multiple values list, single value drop down. And let's run here and apply some filtering. We can apply some filtering here. Font, make it bold. I'll make it bold like others. And this font, make it black. Again, so when I change it, okay, so now let's go on. Okay, now let's go on to check if it works or not. We have a little issue coming with the full size of the dashboard because we're using the size already there. So let's keep it here like that. Okay, and just to associate, you see everything is changing, right? All the charts are changing with high school values. So if I choose master level, everything is changing according to it. Okay. So this is applying one filter. If you want to apply another filter, what you can do is, depending on how many filters you have used. So let's say we have education. We didn't use any other, right? So you can use department-wise filtering as well. So I can just go here, department, and put it here. All three departments. Apply, okay. And I right click and on department filters, apply to all sheets using this data source. It will be applied to all. Now when I come here, I can just go again to analysis and filters, and I can choose a department. So I can use as a drop down single value and bring this, let's say, here, and change this now. Make it new road. Okay, and then change this. To make it darker color. Okay, make it 10. Here, make it correct. So now that if I change my RD, everything change according to that. If I choose RD and associate degree, and I'll get the data. So this is how the whole, you see that the fonts are bigger here now. This is if you remove this filter and add it again, the size will be as like this one. Back. So this is our sheet for our analysis dashboard that we were working on it since this video, and this is just a demo. Again, it all works needs on depends on you how you want to do it for your project and your topic. So we will be working together every Saturday live sessions, and then I'll see you on Saturday by just practicing this. And if you have any questions, I will address them. Thank you so much. The video went a little longer, but all the very best, and see you on Saturday. And this Saturday, I also want to remind you that this Saturday we will also discuss how I can publish this dashboard so people can see it online. So thank you so much. And one last thing, because once you finish work on it, just go to File and click Save so you can save to the dashboard. So that's it for today. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on Saturday morning. Take care.